Objective geology, multiple choice questions with answers. So this is combined UPSC Geoscientist exam 2021 solved question paper, and I hope this is useful for various competitive exams like CSR, NET, GATE, GSI, civil services exams and other competitive exams. Welcome to set 3. Coming to the first question. Sediments which contain grains of various sizes in nearly equal amount of which are said to be A. Well sorted, well assorted, B. Unsorted, C. Positively skewed, and D. Composite. Sediments which contain grains of various size in nearly equal amount are said to be unassorted. So if the grains in a sample sediment are the same size or nearly so, the sediment is said to be well sorted. But if sediments contain grains of various sizes in nearly equal amount are said to be unassorted. So B is the correct option. Next question. Which one of the following is a variety of sandstone that is exceptionally rich in mica, dispersed in parallel or subparallel layers? A. Arkose, B. Flagstone, C. Freestone, and D. Gunnister. So the correct answer is flagstone. So flagstone is usually a form of sandstone which is composed of feldspar and quartz, and it's arenaceous in grain size, that is about 0.16 millimeters to 2 millimeters in diameter. And the material that binds flagstone is usually composed of silica, calcite or iron oxide, and the rock color usually comes from these cementing materials. So B, flagstone is the correct option. Next question. A muddy, laminated and fissile rock capable of breaking into small flakes is called A. Aragonite, B. Sandstone, C. Micaceous quartzite, D. Shale. A muddy, laminated and fissile rock capable of breaking into small flakes is called shale. Shale is a soft, brittle, fine-grained and easily eroded sedimentary rock. So this formation is used to contain mineral-rich silt or mud that was deposited in an aquatic environment, buried by other sediments and compacted and cemented into hard rock. Next question. Which one of the following explains the chelation process of weathering? Which explains the chelation process of weathering? A. Breakdown of mineral due to the extraction of water molecules during the process of weathering. And B. Bonding of metal ions to organic substances to form organic molecules and removal of cations from mineral lattice and keeping the cations in solution. And C. Addition of water molecules into the mineral to form a new mineral. And D. Chemical breakdown of mineral by the process of thermal expansion. So the correct answer is B. Bonding of metal ions to organic substances to form organic molecule and removal of cations from mineral lattice and keeping the cations in solution. Chelation is the chemical removal of the metallic ions from a mineral or rock by weathering. They can provide their combination with organic compounds, and the decomposition of dead plants in soil may form organic acids, which when dissolved in water they cause chemical weathering. So B is the correct option. Next question. On account of the charged surfaces of clay minerals, their interaction with the saline water leads to clumping into aggregates of randomly oriented clay flakes. This process is termed as A. Fissility, B. Flocculation, C. Lamination, and D. Illitization. So the correct answer is B. Flocculation. So flocculation is a process by which a chemical coagulant which is added to the water, which will act to facilitate the bonding between the particles. Thereby it can create larger aggregates which are easier to separate. So B. Flocculation is the correct answer. Next question. Which one of the following beddings is markedly trough or scoop shaped? A. Festoon bedding, B. Massive bedding, C. Lenticular bedding, and D. Laminated bedding. So the correct option is A. Festoon bedding. More rounded ripples and dunes, they cut back and forth into each other and they create swooping cross beds known as a festoon cross bedding. A is the correct option. Next question. Which one of the following is a grain supported limestone? So that also contains micrite matrix. So the options are A. Grainstone, B. Packstone, C. Wakestone, and D. Mudstone. So the correct option is B. Packstone. The mineral composition of packstone, it consists of biotite, agite, basic mass, that is microcrystalline sanidine, carbonate, and opaque petrography analysis. Absorption colorless to brownish, interference colors grayish black, and tachylitic texture. So packstone is a grain supported limestone, contains some matrix, some micrite mud matrix. So B is the correct option. Next question. During diagenesis, the process of intrastratal solution leads to A. Dissolution of one mineral and precipitation of another mineral simultaneously. B. Selective dissolution of less stable framework grains or parts of grains. C. Alteration of one mineral into another by the process of dewatering. And D. Formation of two minerals of contrasting physical and chemical environment. So during the diagenesis, the process of intrastratal solution, it leads to selective dissolution of less stable framework grains or parts of grains. B is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following rock types may also be formed along planes of movement in the crust? A. Conglomerates, B. Limestone, C. Breccia, and D. Gravel. So which rock types may also be formed along the planes of the movement in the crust is Breccia. So the fault breccia, also known as a tectonic breccia, is a breccia that was formed by tectonic forces along a localized zone of brittle deformation or a fault zone. And the grinding and the milling in fault zone occurs when the two sides of a fault zone, they move along each other to obtain the material that is made up of loose fragments. So C. Breccia is the correct option. Next question. Rip currents that occur near a beach are localized in nature and A. Move seaward as a narrow near surface current, and B. Move in turbulent manner in shoaling zone with reduced velocity, and C. Are the perennial currents in the sea driven by the circulation pattern of earth, and D. They are deflection currents which play an important role in dispersal of sediment in wide area along beaches. So the correct option is A. They move seaward as a narrow near surface current. So rip currents are strong, narrow, seaward flows of water that extend from close to the shoreline to the outside of the surf zone. And they are found on almost any beach with breaking waves and act as rivers of the sea, moving sand, marine organisms, and other material offshore. So rip currents, they occur which occur near the beach or localized in nature, and they move seaward as a narrow and near surface current. Next question. The replacement of dolomite rome by calcite is termed as A. Dolomitization, B. De-dolomitization, and C. Recrystallization, and D. Substitution. So the correct answer is de-dolomitization. De-dolomitization is a geological process by which the carbonate mineral dolomite is formed when magnesium ions replace calcium ions in another carbonate mineral, that is known as a calcite. So it is common for this mineral alteration into dolomite to take place due to evaporation of the water in the subkai area. B is the correct option. Next question. The Dead Sea provides a single modern example of a deeper water evaporite, and B. most remarkable deposit of evaporite from the ancient past, and C. most modern evaporite deposit of marine subgas, and D. it's an example of the ancient sea which has disappeared now. So the Dead Sea, it provides a single modern example of deeper water evaporite environment. So example of modern non-marine depositional environments include Great Salt Lake in the Utah and the Dead Sea, which lies between the Jordan and Israel. Next question. The organism is decomposed and it loses its nitrogen, oxygen, and other volatile constituents. So this process is known as, that means suppose when an organism is decomposed, it loses its nitrogen, oxygen, and other various volatile constituents also. So this process is known as A. petrifaction, B. carbonization, C. molds, and D. impression. So very simple. So this is known as a carbonization. B is the correct option. So carbonization means the process of changing or being changed into carbon by burning, heating, or during fossilization. That means the process of being preserved in the rock over a long period. So B, carbonization, is the correct option. Next question. The study of the process of fossilization is called A. agronomy, B. pteronomy, C. taxonomy, and D. taphonomy. So the study of the process of fossilization is called D. taphonomy. Taphonomy is the study of how organic remains they pass from biosphere to the lithosphere, and this includes the process affecting remains from the time of death of an organism or the discard of the shed of remaining parts through decomposition, burial and preservation as mineralized fossils or other stable biomaterials. So the process of the formation of fossilization is known as taphonomy. Next question. Which one of the following statements regarding the bivalve is correct? A. Length is defined as the maximum linear dimension in an anterior-posterior direction, and height is defined as the maximum dimension perpendicular to the length. And B. Length is defined as the maximum linear dimension in the radial direction, while height is defined as the maximum dimension perpendicular to the length. And C. Length is defined as the maximum linear dimension in posterior anterior direction, while height is the perpendicular to the length. And D. Length is the maximum area which is covered by the bivalve shell in one linear direction, while height is perpendicular to it. So what is which statement is correct regarding the bivalves? So here the length is nothing but the maximum linear dimension in an anterior to posterior direction, and height is the maximum direction which is perpendicular to the length. Next question. Paratype is a specimen other than the holotype which is formally designated as the author of a species as A. Having been used in the description of the species, and B. A syntype which is subsequently singled out as the definitive type specimen for a species, and C. Used for redescription of existing species, and D. Depicting it as a non-original type material which has been collected at the type locality. So paratype is a specimen other than the holotype. This is usually designated as a species as having been used in the description of the species. Next question. In paleontology, subspecies is usually used to denote A. The extinction of one species by the expense of one species forms a subspecies, and B. The morphological changes in a species that lead to transformation of one species to another, and C. The evolution of new species from the mutation of old genera, and D. The intermediate stage in the replacement of one species by another through phyletic transition. So in paleontology, subspecies usually used to denote the intermediate stage in the replacement of one species by another through phyletic transition. Next question. The body part of which invertebrate can transversely and longitudinally be divided into three distinct parts. So the choices are A. Brachiopods, B. Gastropods, C. Trilobites, and D. Cephalopods. So obviously C. Trilobites is the correct option. In the trilobites, the body can be easily divided into three parts like longitudinally and transversely. That is known as the head, thorax, and pygidium. Next question. Brain size in different mammals generally tends to increase during the process of evolution by the powers of A. 2/3 of body size, B. 3/2 of the body size, C. 4/3 of the body size, and D. 1/6 of the body size. So brain size in different mammals generally tends to increase during the process of evolution by the powers of 2/3 of the body size. Basically because the brain size, it appears to increase regularly with the body size by a power law in mammals. That is Jerison, he is a scientist. He has suggested the possibility of calculating the expected brain mass of any species from its body mass. So brain size in different mammals generally tends to increase during the process of evolution by the powers of 2/3 of the body size. So A is the correct option. Next question. Which one of the following is related to the missing link between humans and their ape-like ancestors? So A. Proconsular Africans, B. Homo habilis, C. Homo erectus, and D. Homo heidelbergensis. So the correct option is the missing link between the humans and their ape-like ancestors is Homo habilis. This is also known as a handyman. It is an extinct, Homo habilis is an extinct species of archaic human from the early Pleistocene East and South Africa about 2.8 million years ago to 1.65 million years ago. So B. Homo habilis is the correct option. Hope you have learned some important aspects and answers from these questions, and see you in the next video. See you in the next part. Thank you for your time.